Hey everyone, it's Smitha. I'm GlamSmitty on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and today we're going to be talking about the Green Goddess collection from Beaute Bar. This is the spring launch. The last time that we had a launch was a few months ago. It feels like it was quite a while. And this launch includes a 15-pan eyeshadow palette and a green highlighter. So I'm gonna go into diving into some detailed swatches and talking about the collection by switching to the overhead setting. And then I'll come back with some looks and wrap up thoughts. If you aren't subscribed already, please subscribe. I am the same on all my platforms, GlamSmitty, and I do have an affiliate code with the brand that is GlamSmitty, which can also be used to save. Like I said, that's an affiliated code. Thank you so much if you use it. And without further ado, let's dive into some details about the palette and the launch. This collection is called the Green Goddess collection and includes a palette and a highlighter that I've shown here. It actually has a few other items as well, but these are the items that I received in PR. It launches on April 7th, and I haven't seen a price listed yet, but typically for a palette this size, I would expect it to be somewhere between $55 and $70. The price point definitely reflects the fact that you get quite a few special shimmers in this palette, including multi-chromes and duochromes and really intense special shimmers. Something that I've also mentioned before about Beaute Bar is that all of the singles can be popped out of the palette with a magnet or with your finger, and you can mix and match the shadows, or if you want to just travel with a few shadows in a magnetic palette, you can totally do that. This collection also includes this really unique green highlighter, and I think if you've seen some of my other series and posts, you know that I love interesting, colorful highlighters, so I'm very excited about this. Now I'm going to go ahead and show some swatches of the shimmers in the palette. First, we have the shade Balance. It's a sheer pinky shade, and you can see in the swatch that it has greenish sparkles throughout. Next, we have the shade Earth Mother, and this is a really interesting shade. It almost looks marbled in the pan. This one has a light taupey base with a predominantly golden green shift. Next, we have the shade Renewal, and this is one of my favorite shimmers in the palette. It has a cool golden base and a really strong green, teal, a little bit of purple shift. Next, we have the shade Lush, and this has a predominantly pink base with really pretty kind of chartreuse green sparkles throughout. This shadow is softer and more emollient, so in case you have creasing with that type of shadow, this is the only shadow in the palette that's like that. Next, we have the shade Enchant, and this is a really intense rose gold metallic. Next, we have the shade Fertility, and this is an absolutely stunning, almost mermaid-like ethereal multi-chrome. This has a seafoam green base with golden orange and even some blue shift in it. And then last we have the shade Tafiti, which is a really rich evergreen intense sparkly shimmer. And here's what the whole palette looks like swatched on my arm. I also want to touch really briefly on the green highlighter that's included. It's a minty green shade, and it has a really smooth texture, but it still has sparkle in it. So if you're looking for a blinding light green highlighter, I think this might be a good option for you. I'll definitely do a more in-depth look at this highlighter in another post. So that was my overview to the Green Goddess collection. Let me know if you have your eye on anything, and I'll see you in my next video. For my first look, I'm going to start off with this sage green matte called Nourish and just pop it all over the crease. I have such an easy time using the mattes from Beaute Bar. I'm going to put that same matte all over the lower lash line, and then I'm going to go in with this rich green matte called Demeter, and I'm just going to try to create a halo by going into the inner portion of the lid and the outer portion of the lid, and then do the same thing on the lower lash line as well, and just blend those two green mattes together. I am really pleased about the depth of the mattes in this palette, and I love it when you apply them and they look even slightly darker than they look in the pan. Now I'm going to go in with an even fluffier brush and just blend around the edges. Next, I'm going to go in with this really beautiful shimmer in the top row called Earth Mother, and I'm really going to use it for the rest of my look. I'm going to put it all over the center of my lid with my fingertip, and then I'm going to put a little bit on the lower lash line. On the inner corner, I'm going to use a little bit of this rich green Urban Decay eyeliner and the Kulfi Beauty mascara and Black Veil from Isamaya on the lips. For my second look, I'm going to start off with this pale pink matte called Growth and put it all over the lid and lower lash line. And then I'm going to deepen up the crease by going in with this pinky, peachy, corally shade called Femininity and put it in the outer corner all along the lower lash line. I find that I often want to deepen looks up, so I'm going to go in with the deepest matte in the palette called Goddess. I was really surprised how pigmented it is. And then for my lid shimmer, I'm going to use this shade Balance, which is that really sheer pinky shade that has kind of greenish sparkles throughout. It's very transformative. And then I'm going to take Tranquil, which is the mint matte, and put it on my brow bone and my inner corner as the highlights. I finished off the look again with an Urban Decay eyeliner and the Kulfi mascara, and this is my finished 2 looks. Alright everyone, now that you've had a chance to see the palette in action, including some detailed swatches and a couple of looks, I'm really curious to see what you think of the collection. Are you excited for it, or do you plan to pick it up? Is green just not your jam? Let me know in the comments. I had a lot of fun with using this collection. I've really, like the color stories from Beaute Bar that are a little bit smaller. I like their big palettes too, but in general, I tend to be a little bit overwhelmed by big palettes, so I really like curated color stories. I think, obviously this color story is a lot of fun for spring. But I also really liked the 9-pan color story as well. So basically I like their curated color stories a lot. And I thought this palette, for having just 15 shades, I feel like the variety of looks that you can get is pretty awesome. You get, this range of lighter mattes to deeper mattes. I think the incorporation of some browns and a few kind of like pinky corals was smart, because your looks aren't just going to be green. They can be a combination. They could be just kind of these peachy tones. They could be just these green tones, just the brown tones, do something more neutral. So I think you really do get a good variety of looks with this palette. The green highlighter I really like. I like green highlighters. I like colored highlighters in general, and there's not that many green highlighters out there, so this is a lot of fun. This is a blinding and sparkly highlighter. It is smooth on the skin. It applies smoothly, but it definitely is very sparkly, as you can see in this swatch here. So I think that this is also, this is the type of product that you can totally use as an inner corner highlight or a brow bone highlight if you don't want to put it on your face like I did. I think there's a lot of possibilities for this. And yeah, so I am excited. I definitely plan to pick up the green gloss if I can get my hands on it. So in terms of the performance, I felt like the products in this collection performed up to the standard that I'm familiar with from Beaute Bar. I find the mattes to be buildable and blendable. I find the shimmers to be really special, really impressive. So I'm all around very happy with the palette and with the collection, and I think the quality is just up to par for what I know from Beaute Bar. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't subscribed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.